Alright guys, welcome back to another fanfiction idea, and this one's actually, I guess you could say, kind of a remake of one I did a while ago of Star versus and crossing over with Thor. So Thor, Star versus the Forces of Evil, or I guess you could call it Star versus the Forces of Asgard. There's the title. I think that might be the title of the video. I don't know. We'll find out once this is posted, right? Anyway, so so this crossover is basically in this idea. More or less, what is going on is that it's just a normal day for, like, I guess you could say, like, it's nebulous, just pick a nebulous timeline for. Well, no, I think about it, because I did have Eclipse here, so this would be nebulous in season 4, like some nebulous era in season 4. But basically what's going on is that it's just a normal day. Star, Marco, Tom, and Jana are taking a portal back to Mewni, but something's happened. That portal that they create with the scissors has gone haywire. It's gone haywire and thrown them not just to Asgard, but each of the 9 realms. Star ended up directly in Asgard, which the Asgardians are a little pissed off about. You also have Marco, who's in Nusfelheim. Not Nusfelheim, excuse me. Tom's in Nusfelheim. Marco is in Stavelheim, and Jana is off in Jotunheim. So they're not doing too great. So they're off in different realms. And Star immediately is like, I don't know what's going on, because she's immediately she immediately encounters Thor, who she's already knows who Thor is. Not just because, like, Marco's told her, like, about the Avengers and whatnot. She's known about Thor because Asgard and Mewni are not the best of friends. Like, there's history between Asgard and Mewni. Like, there was an attempted alliance between Mewni and Asgard, but the history books are a little messy, and she understands because the Magical High Commission, after a whole thing with Eclipse, have probably censored some stuff. But basically, all she knows is that Mewni and Asgard were trying to be friends, but diplomacy broke down, and they didn't go to war because even Mewni was like, no, Asgard would totally wipe the floor with us. But basically, what happened was they're just like, we're not on speaking terms now. Like, we're not on speaking terms. And when Star's like, hey, I'm human, Thor's like, oh, we gotta talk to Odin real quick. We gotta talk to Odin. Hang on. So Star and Thor are encountering one another, but Star's also like, my friends got thrown all over the place by our portals, and even Thor makes a note of that shouldn't happen because, you know, Heimdall sees everything, but when you use that portal to get back to Mewni, it blanked out on him, like, and that's a little upsetting to Heimdall. So meanwhile, everyone else is on their own little adventures. Tom is in Nusfelheim, of course, realm of the fire demons, and encounters Surtur, Surtur is like half-breed, you're not even a real demon, I want you dead. And as Tom is fighting his way through the fire demons, he actually encounters some help in the form of Beta Ray Bill, who Beta Ray Bill is in Nusfelheim because he's actually in the middle of his own little quest, because what had happened was a piece of Scuttlebutt has broken off and has ended up in Nusfelheim, and it's part of a system he kind of needs to get Scuttlebutt running, so he's in there fighting his way, and he encounters Tom, and he's like, hey, what's up? You know, he's like, you're but a child, you know, what's going on here? And Tom explains the situation, and Beta Ray's like, I'll help you out. Once you help me get Scuttlebutt, and I can ferry you to your friends. So Tom and Beta Ray Bill hang out. Meanwhile, Jana, while she's in Jotunheim, running from frost giants and not trying to be eaten, she encounters Lady Sif, who she's immediately like, oh my god, she's hot. and it's like, oh, you know, wow, Lady Sif. And Lady Sif is in Jotunheim because frost giants had come to Asgard and have stolen several children to consume. So she's here to get to find these lost children and slay some frost giants. Meanwhile, out in Stavelheim, Marco is encountering the Dark Elves along with Malekith, but he also finds help in the form of the Warriors 3, who are there because Malekith has gotten his hands on the Casket of Ancient Winners, and they're questing to get it back. So, yeah, that's basically what it is. Now, you're probably wondering, well, what the hell happened? Like, what caused the thing to blur out? You know, the portal to blur out and them to come to Asgard. Well, it wasn't so much a what as it was a who, and it wasn't Loki. Even, like, Thor's like, Loki, was this one of your tricks? And Loki's immediately like, no, this ain't me. I'm a little perplexed by this. Turns out that the person behind this is a guy named Rune. Now, Rune was an original villain I created, Rune is basically what I created was, Rune is a Mewman Asgardian hybrid. He is the son of an Asgardian witch and a Mewman king. So basically, now we're getting into the whole why mewni and Asgard are not on speaking terms. Basically, long while ago in the long list of queens, a Mewman king who had married into the family and was not cool with the idea of having a daughter, even though, yeah, he had a daughter, was like, I demand a son, I demand a king of Mewni instead of a queen. So he during these at the same time there's negotiations between Asgard and Mewni. And while this is going on, one of Odin's advisors, who's this sorceress, is like, hey, you want a king? I want to put I can help you with that. So they bang, she has a kid, the Mewmans are not cool with this, the Asgardians aren't cool with this, because they're like, fuck, what did you do? And it turns out that the sorceress was basically wanting to, it's not a Thor villain, it's just basically a sorceress who was like, hey, I want to have a child in power and not be just some lowly advisor. I have a chance to be a queen, of a world, and not just like Odin's like Oracle or whatever the fuck. So this Mewman sorceress is arrested, and she's left with the child, the son, who becomes Rune, and the father gets off scot-free because he's like a king of Mewni, but Odin's like, I'm gonna punish the shit out of that sorceress who wanted to undermine me. So the sorceress and her son are arrested and thrown into a tower in a nameless dungeon in out in the Nine Realms. The mother died of old age and gave but while she was teaching magic and training her son Rune into, and grooming him to be the king, the king he always thought himself to be. So he's like, Rune is the one behind this, and why he brought Star here. He didn't care about the other ones. They're just like, oh, they're thrown the other realms. Star, the butterfly, is what I want. He basically needs he can bring people to Asgard, but he can't get to Mewni. So he cast a spell to bring them to Mewni, so he could steal the dimensional scissors and also use Star as a focal point to get to Mewni, so he can take what his rightful throne, or what he believes is his rightful throne. So yeah, there you go. So that's the general gist of the story, is that Rune is this original villain, half Mewni, half human, half Asgardian. He's a powerful sorcerer. He's actually incredibly strong. And he doesn't work with Loki. Yeah. Also, it's kind of funny because I wanted to have it like he's been building, recruiting forces of both Asgard and monsters who used to follow Ludo, but they're just kind of like, well, we don't know what to do, so we're just kind of stealing shit for ourselves. Kind of like raiding parties that Buff Frog was a member of. So he's been building a ragtag army to do a quick siege. It's not enough to go to war against Mewni or Asgard. It's just basically enough to, I'm going to siege the castle, take it, depose whoever's in charge, because it ain't this blonde bitch. Depose them, and then force terms with both Mewni and Asgard to accept me as king of Mewni, and that'll be it. Doesn't go his way, and even like Loki's like a little upset, like he's vexed at the idea. He's like, you didn't call me. I was all for it. Like, this would be cool. And yeah, so long story short, everyone gets back together. Everyone, unites once more, and they go to take out Rune. And Rune, before his actions, Loki's the one who thinks this up. He's like, hey guys, I got an idea how to punish him and keep him in a prison this time. Basically, he's given the punishment that Loki always gets at the end, in mythology, tied to a rock with a snake dripping venom into the person's face for all eternity. That's Rune's punishment at the end of it. So yeah, there you go. Just basically, like, I wanted to have like fun interactions, like Beta Ray and Tom talk about like being like, yeah, we're the odd ones out, like we're best friends with the main characters, but at the same time, it's like we're not like them. We don't look like them, so I don't think we're ever going to be accepted. But that's okay. Sif basically talks to Jana about being a warrior woman, and Marco more or less is like learning to be a better warrior and a better fighter, because he always feels like he can't defend Star no matter what. So he always feels like he's failing that, and the Warriors 3 kind of like rally his spirits. And Thor and Star also interact as like, Thor basically like tells her straight up, like, I was like you. I was this carefree kind of person, and I got people hurt. And you need to learn that's, and Star at this point, because it's season 4, is already like that, so she's starting to learn that kind of lesson that Thor's imparting on her, so it's a little more lasting effect. So anyway, so you guys tell me in the comments below, what did you guys think of this story? Did you guys like it? Oh, and I wanted to throw in, by the way, before I forget, I wanted to throw in like a fun little thing of like Star mentions that Mewni had gods at one point, because she knows the Asgardians are treated as gods, but she throws in the thing of like, Mewni had gods, but then we didn't have them anymore for one reason. And Thor's like, I have a good idea of why that is. Obviously a reference to Gore the God Butcher. Just wanted to throw that in there. But you guys tell me in the comments below, what did you guys think of this? Do you guys like it, hate it? Comment below, let me know. And once again, I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.